Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Elite City Podcast. First off, welcome back, Biddy. Yay.
Hi.
Hi, Biddy.
Hi. Hey, what's up?
I'm alive.
Good. It's always positive.
Now, did you listen to the podcast when you weren't here?
Most of it.
Did
Sick.
you see? Because there was a bit at the end of the last one that did you hear that part?
Didn't.
Well, it wasn't but see, it wasn't a bit.
It was really good
thing.
Because I said, hopefully
yes.
Biddy's back next week, and Blasco didn't hear what I said. So he said, who? And I thought he meant, I don't remember who Biddy is. And I was like, you remember Biddy, right? She's been on the it worked out really well, but we didn't plan it.
Yeah. And literally, he
it's
said
good
it
that
the
we're
second time.
explaining it too, because that makes it funnier.
Yes. And when he said it the second time, the audio cut out again. And I was like, I have no idea who you're talking about. And he was like, Biddy. I was like, oh, I just didn't hear you.
I will definitely listen to it after
Yeah.
this. This is the theme of the week, for everyone. Biddy didn't. Biddy's very unprepared.
All good.
That's good. But before we get to everything, like,
Yes.
share,
Yes.
subscribe, re-X, whatever you call that now.
Yeah, you little turds.
Yeah, share, rate, tell your friends, all that stuff.
Yes. At Elite City Pod everywhere.
Yes, exactly. 'Cause I was slacking on the social media last week, so I didn't post anything about the podcast. So thank you to those who are subscribed, because
Yes.
you can listen even when I neglect to post about it.
I posted about it. I will say that. And we did pick up some new subscribers, so thank you. And hopefully you're back this week.
Yeah,
So-
don't let the first 2 minutes of this podcast dissuade you from listening to the rest of the podcast. We will
Yes.
talk about wrestling.
Yes. As a matter of fact, we'll start right now.
All
there
right.
was an infamous tournament of the Grand Slam type.
A Tony
announced-
Khan ran a tournament?
I know.
It's not
Out of-
like
out
him.
of
What?
out of nowhere. So the whole
We did run an entire tournament in like 2 shows.
That's what I was just
3
gonna
shows.
say.
They ran through the entire tournament in a week.
That was the coolest part of this. It was, you knew it had to end this week, because the Grand Slam's in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So there wasn't much time, but they got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 matches, plus semifinals. So
Yeah, they did 6 matches in a
6
week.
matches in a week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unreal.
So no, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I took note of it, and I know some on the internet have a problem with it. Shockingly, the internet is mad. What did you think of them, including people like Trent Beretta and Nick Wayne, who they're not going to win?
That goes back to what I was saying a couple weeks ago about, I don't understand why best friends are always broke up and put in singles matches. There's enough people now. Let them be a tag team. Nick Wayne, it's experience, but I get what you're saying. There's no way he was advancing.
And Nick Wayne, I totally agree with you on Trent Beretta, especially because they are kind of lacking tag teams.
Yeah.
Right now. And the Nick Wayne thing, which is he's been in 5 matches, and I think he's lost 4 of them.
Yeah.
And it's hey, you know who gets to be in the world title contender tournament? This guy. And I get why. It's fine. It doesn't matter. But it was a little weird.
Yeah.
It was just an excuse for them to put him against Darby. Let's be honest.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like that storyline. I do like that. It was weird when AR Fox turned and Darby was suddenly his friend again, but they explained that. And then I like that Nick Wayne isn't okay with it. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
He did beat him up and slice his
I was
face or
just
something.
gonna say, yeah.
Yeah,
it,
that
broke
was a
into his
lot of blood.
house.
Yeah. I'd still be a little pissed too.
Broke into his house, made fun of his dad, which is Christian's gimmick, so that doesn't need to be done by 2 people. And then just sliced up his face, and then called Darby to be hey, we beat up your friend. And then all of a sudden the next week, AR Fox is no, I'm actually on your side. We're friends, right?
After keeping the bloody shirt that he ripped off of him, as a trophy.
Yes.
It just was no longer. It's just it's water on the bridge, right?
That was weird, but they have tried to explain it. Darby has explained himself, and Nick Wayne didn't immediately forgive him, so it makes sense at least.
Yeah, but I agree with you. Like Roderick Strong obviously advances over Trent Beretta. Darby beats Nick Wayne. The other two matches made a little more sense as far as people went.
Yeah.
And they were Jay Lethal versus Penta and Samoa Joe versus Jeff Hardy. Are you surprised of what they're doing with Penta?
I am a little bit. Yeah, I thought Jay Lethal was going to win that match.
Same here. I mean, I don't know if maybe like Rey Fenix is not necessarily hurt, but like has a nagging injury.
He was on one of the shows this week, wasn't he?
Oh yeah,
I think he was on. He was Collision or Rampage. I don't remember which one.
Yeah, he was. I think it was Collision. But for some reason they're separate right now, and Penta's getting like big matches, which is awesome. But
yeah, I like Penta. Like he's good.
Oh yeah.
I feel like he should be there. But again, it is a little case of like I like Penta, and if they gave him a singles push, that it works for me.
Yeah.
But it is a case of like they don't have that many tag teams. Why are they not using them? I understand that Rey Fenix was hurt, but now that he's back, why are they not a tag team?
Exactly. It's just that kind of. I mean, obviously they're pushing Penta because he did win. I thought Jay Lethal would win. Also, never realized how tall Penta was until this match. Either that or Jay Lethal's way shorter than I thought.
Yeah.
Because Penta looked enormous. I don't know why. And the other match was Samoa Joe.
Well, one more thing about Penta. He needs a new mask, man. Like, what is he doing?
You don't like that mask? His mask?
No, because the mask looks fine, but like every third match it comes off. Like his mask is and how many times is he going to get tied to the ropes from that little tassel in the back? Like,
true.
Like, just get a mask that doesn't do those things. Get a mask that you like don't tie up in the back and have a like just get like a mask that like all the other luchadors wear that doesn't immediately fall off every single time.
So he just needs a more economical mask.
Yeah, he needs whoever made Rey Fenix's mask. Just ask him, like, hey, can you make me one that looks like mine but fits like his? Because Rey Fenix's mask doesn't fall off every 10 minutes.
That is true.
If I bought a hat and like every time I went out my hat fell off, I would like get a different hat. So I feel like he should get a
great
new
analogy.
mask.
Agreed.
Yes.
Just an aside, because I looked it up. Penta and Jay Lethal are actually about the same size. Says Wiki.
So that's very odd that Penta looked enormous.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Just totally off track, of course. But remember when Kane's mask fell off in Saudi Arabia?
Yes. Actually, no. Let's forget about Saudi. Like that didn't happen.
Well, right.
Let's pretend that didn't happen because that was sad for all involved.
But when his mask fell off, it was so great. I'll never.
Not to make that a big thing, but that match, train wreck of a disaster of a train wreck.
Yes.
Somehow, Shawn Michaels, who hadn't wrestled in like 10 years, like embarrassed himself the least in that match.
Yeah.
All the rest of them were like, who were still active wrestlers.
Yes.
Looked absolutely terrible. But anyway, continuing on.
Yeah. Samoa Joe versus Jeff Hardy, and obviously, Joe wins. That was the match that I don't know. That one seemed a little long for me. Like that was like, oh, obviously Joe's gonna win, right? But I don't know.
AEW has that problem sometimes, and I totally understand wanting to like let not squash people and like to let everybody get their stuff in and to like not make someone look bad, even a loss. Like I totally understand those things. But there was a couple matches this week where like you knew who was going to win and they could lop 2 or 3 minutes off of it, and it would have been better.
That was one of them. Time. It's time.
It was like both of Moxley's matchups. Like he's not going to lose to like AR Fox or Action Andretti. Like did they need to be like 10 or 15 minutes? No, they could have been 7 and like still accomplished what they accomplished.
I totally agree.
God, you guys, if they did that, they might have to put another women's match on.
We can't allow that. Now, would it happen before 9 p.m.? Because that's forbidden.
No, absolutely not.
That's incredible.
2 women's matches. That's crazy. You're crazy. Stop acting crazy.
What can I say? I'm just a hysterical woman.
But on ROH, there's a ton of women's matches on ROH
every week. Yeah, every week.
Very weird. It makes me think
plus,
it's like,
aren't they like even like they're really like they're bangers too, right?
Oh, they're always good. The ROH in general is very good every week.
It makes me think that it's like the TNT or TBS, like they don't want, like they've told Tony Khan like one women's match per week because like
we hate women.
Like why is he booking them on other shows and not booking them on the TV shows? Like it makes me think that that's because on Dark, when they used to be Dark and Elevation, they had women's matches too.
The only thing I can think of, because this bugs me, is that they since they record ROH before Collision, if you're there for the live audience, you get about a 60-40 split between men's and women's matches for the live audience. But if they're I'm lost words here.
No, I get what you're trying to say. Like, yeah, if they put more women's matches on Collision, then over the course of the whole night, there would be more women. Yeah, I get it, but I also don't.
Right, but there is a different way to do it,
and there's also Dynamite. Like, put them on Dynamite.
That's what I was just going to say. Then you could still put more matches on Dynamite since there's no longer a pre-tape before Dynamite.
Right.
I don't know. That's my head went there.
Yeah.
What do you? First off, how great is Roderick Strong's pre-match picture?
Amazing.
Yes.
I loved so much that he comes to the ring with the neck brace on.
Yes.
Theoretically takes the neck brace off, wrestles the match, and then puts the neck brace back on again.
It's amazing.
It's great.
The
I didn't know Roderick Strong had a personality. Really, I've only seen like a little bit of him, like in NXT. And he didn't really do much that I saw. Like I thought he was just like he was a good wrestler, but like I didn't know he was like entertaining.
Yeah, he's been unleashed.
Yeah, no, he definitely is. I think it's great.
He's one of those guys that could like. He's almost like MJF-ish. Like he can, in the middle of a dead serious match, can do something to make the crowd laugh, and it's not out of character.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense. Like it's very few people can do that, and he's one that can do it.
Yeah.
My favorite thing for his matches this week, they were zoomed in on the corner, and Matt Taven yelled at the referee, "Look out for Roddy's neck health," and I laughed. It was the greatest moment.
The neck health stuff is great. It's hilarious.
It was,
and to be fair, he has a point. Like Samoa Joe hurt him, Roderick Strong, and Adam Cole was like, "Yeah, okay." Samoa Joe hurt MJF, and he's like, "Oh my god, MJF!" Like,
right?
He has a point. Like,
yeah. This whole story is amazing.
It's great.
But how's it going to end?
That's who wins, Samoa Joe or Roderick Strong? Then, like, we can skip over the semifinals because everyone knows what happened.
Yeah.
Who wins?
It makes sense either way.
Yeah.
Because you have the not rematch, but does MJF get redemption for when Joe pushed him out of the way in NXT, or does Roderick Strong get his friend back? I mean, it's win-win.
It makes me think that because they have so much coming up, which we'll talk about later, but they have like Grand Slam coming up and then the Wrestle Dream pay-per-view. Like, are they going to somehow make it so like one of them gets the match at Grand Slam and then the other one gets the match at the pay-per-view? Somehow. I don't know how they'll make that happen, but because I would like to see both those matches.
Yeah. That's a great point. I think it almost has to happen now. Now that you say that. Oh, go ahead.
It's okay. I'm wondering if Samoa Joe wins, and then they do that at Grand Slam, and then somehow either for Wrestle Dream or Grand Slam they do Adam Cole versus Roderick Strong.
Oh yeah.
Like I can see that definitely happening.
I could see that.
Yeah, that's true. Or like maybe Samoa Joe hurts Roderick Strong's neck, and Adam Cole either cares or doesn't care, and then that can go somewhere. Like either he hurts his neck and Adam Cole cares, and then like MJF's kind of annoyed because like, why are you?
That could be.
Or doesn't care, and then that makes Roderick Strong mad.
That could be like the initial split between MJF and Cole. Like if he,
there's so many ways for this to go.
Yeah, if he shows some empathy towards Roderick Strong, like the jealousy will. It could be so good.
I love this story. I think
it's very good. AEW has a bunch of bangers right now, but this one's like, excuse the pun, it's the elite. It
is really good. And they're bringing in they're bringing in characters like Roderick Strong and Samoa Joe getting involved, and like it's great.
Yeah. Oh.
Man, how about Samoa Joe is like, talk about a career resurgence, just boom.
Yeah, he got fired from WWE twice.
Yeah.
In a year.
Yeah. It's because they never let him do anything. All these people, like WWE let them all go. And we've said it a million times. What are you supposed to do? You're running a company. Like
there is a part of me that thinks whatever Samoa Joe's doing now was supposed to be CM Punk, and we're supposed to lead up to a CM Punk MJF match.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Which would have made sense, but like Samoa Joe is killing it in that, like they called him to step, because I mean Punk beat Samoa Joe at All In, right? So it would make sense for him to move on. Like Samoa Joe lost, so why is he in the title tournament? But like he's killing it with what he has. Like they called him to jump in, and he's doing a great job.
He's crushing it right now.
I still don't like his ring name though. Samoa Joe, it's weird to me.
It is.
Like Samoan background. He's Joe. Samoa Joe.
Yeah, but like my wrestling name wouldn't be like
Canadian Rick.
I wish it was.
That'd be sick.
It's not even Samoan Joe. It's Samoa, right?
Yeah,
so it'd be, it's like Canada Rick.
Yeah.
Or like
Canada
America Josh.
That'd be awesome.
Okay, it's funny then. Okay, it works.
Yeah, but see, no one's that. If you're that intimidating, like his name could be like cotton candy, and you're like, I'm not gonna say anything about it.
Yeah, he's still gonna kill me. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean.
Yeah, he's like one of the wrestlers that looks like he could like legit kill you.
Yeah, for sure.
And like not break out in a sweat.
And not care.
Yeah.
If he did.
That walking away from people jumping at him, man, it's
the greatest thing ever.
It's great. And I love that if it doesn't work once, he keeps trying it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great guy. Now the show, like Dynamite, started off with Orange Cassidy, which it always does, and it was funny because as I was watching it, like the Dynamite theme ends and they do the pyro, and then like in my mind I was thinking, oh, now starts Orange Cassidy's theme. Like in my mind, in my mind they've become connected, like the Dynamite theme and then Jane, like they flow into each other now. So I like that they did it again.
You don't mess with tradition. It's too good.
Oh, see, the audio guys just are automatically kicked off the song, and they're like, "Oh crap, get out there, Orange!"
He doesn't have a match. Just go.
Go.
Just do something.
We done messed up. Go.
Well, what does everybody think is next for Orange Cassidy? That's the big one.
I don't know. That's a hard one because he has to go up from where he was, right? He can't go down. But like, what's up other than like the world title, which he's not, like, that's busy right now. So he's not going to go after that. So what is it?
Come on, dude, take a vacation.
Yes. That's what I literally last week.
Yeah, I don't think he has to worry about losing momentum. I mean, he's like, the most over besides like Adam Cole and MJF. Like he is the most over.
Yeah,
he's like Danhausen over.
Yeah,
like we haven't seen Danhausen in what, like 2 months. When Danhausen comes back, it'll be like he was there 10 minutes ago.
Right. Yeah, like, maybe he'll be gone for a little bit, and then one day his music will hit, and everyone will just go nuts.
Yeah.
That's what I said that last week. That's what I thought he would do. Be gone till like the end of the year. But it doesn't look like he's going to be.
I think they also wanted him to get that ovation when he came out again.
True. I really don't know what would be next. Because
it's pretty much going to have to be world title.
Yeah, if MJF was a heel, I would say.
Surprisingly, almost the entire internet is all united in that they want him to go for the world title, and we know that hardly ever happens. So
yeah. I want to see it. It'd be fun.
Oh, it would be great.
I want him to win because that'd be really cool. Like I think I mentioned last week, he's somehow become my favorite wrestler over the last like 2 months. So now I want him to win.
I mean, so many people wrote him off as just, a comedian, a goof or whatever. But it's like, no, the guy actually goes hard.
Yeah, and he's managed to transition his like slacker gimmick really well into like a main. Like now he can be a main. Like it's not just the little kicks and like the hands in the pockets. Like he has a whole personality now. It's great.
It's
so good.
That's,
so good.
People forget though, like they're like, oh man, he's got so many years ahead. It's like, no, he's like 39.
Yeah, he looks much younger than he is.
Yeah.
I was
He
very
moves
surprised.
like he's younger.
Yeah. I think it all started with that match at last year's Forbidden Door. It was against Ospreay, right?
Yes.
His match against Ospreay, everyone was like, why is he facing Will Ospreay?
Yeah.
And then like it was outstanding.
Oh, it was so good. That was the one where we both said like how good they know their characters. I remember like Ospreay did something and then like he smiled real big at the camera and then Orange did it and like the place went insane.
Yeah. He's great at like getting the crowd to react to stuff and
like, he can wrestle anybody, any style, anybody. He just like I'm so happy for him because all those people making fun of him and stuff for so long, he just pretty much shut them up big time.
And I feel like the Mox match was why they did like to show that he can wrestle anybody, right? Like you knew he could do technical stuff, you knew he could do like high flying stuff, you knew he can do comedy stuff.
Yeah.
But when you do like a brutal like fight and he can.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He can, and you could tell Mox is like respects the hell out of him too.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I'm the whole time I was trying to think who could be next, and I have no idea.
He'll have to have one more feud before the world title because the world title is really busy. So if he's going to be around still, he has to have something.
Yeah, like the only thing I could think of is like you put best friends together and they go after trios, but did they just put that on the Acclaimed? So
Acclaimed, yeah, they're not going to face the Acclaimed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Unless he just keeps doing like just having banger matches. I don't want to say that don't mean anything, but like just people that he works really good with.
Yeah.
I don't know. We shall see, I guess.
Well, speaking of not knowing and Moxley had an open challenge right after. He's continued the open challenge.
Which I think is very cool. I agree with.
I agree with it, but the only problem with it, in my eyes, is like when Orange had his open challenges, especially as they continued on, you thought, oh, maybe he'll lose, right? Like he could have lost. Not some of those matches he couldn't, but like half of them, you thought, oh, maybe he'll lose.
True.
Whereas like Mox is like I've said before, like he's so overpowered that like who's going to beat him? None of the like the regular international title competitors have any chance. Like the only people who are going to beat Mox are like high end, like someone who's like established as like a tough main eventer. Yeah, Pac would be a good one.
That's what'll happen then.
Yeah, Pac would be a good one. That would make sense.
That's a great point, Biddy. I think that's what will happen. He will be the first one to lose his open challenge stipulation.
Yeah.
I mean,
do you think he has a long run? Do you think he has like an Orange like run?
Probably not. I mean, that guy needs a vacation too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say maybe like have like a medium sized run if that makes any sense. Like just to not
like a couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not playing like ping pong with it, but you know, still give it enough longevity to give Mox like an actual run with defenses.
Yeah.
So take it till like December-ish.
Yeah. I mean, the thing Mox also goes anywhere to wrestle, so that thing can show up anywhere.
Oh, that is
I
true
love that Mox will go to like some random indie show with like 100 people just for no reason whatsoever. He has no reason to be there, but he'll do it. Like he doesn't need the money, he doesn't need the attention, he doesn't need any of that stuff, but he just like likes to like go get hit in the face for a while and then like
someone put on the internet, I don't know if it was on Threads or Blue Sky or something, but they said I don't know, the year is going to be like 2040 in a bingo hall somewhere, and the crowd will be Brie Bella and Renee Paquette because their husbands will be wrestling, and they'll be the only two there. I was like, that's probably about right.
Yeah, that makes sense. That fits.
Yeah, they'll try to wrestle in a bingo hall and only Renee's there with Brie Bella.
And they're both just like, just stop. And they're like,
Yes.
no, we can't.
Yeah, there's no reason for this to be happening right now. We drove to Nebraska for this.
And Danielson's like, no, I haven't done this one move. I have to try it.
Yeah.
Mox is just cutting himself.
And they'll be the happiest people alive.
Yeah. They'll leave so happy after like an hour and a half long match.
They're 74 years old. Anyways, MJF and back to Samoa Joe had a heck of a promo battle.
Yeah, it was great. I love MJF's character when he like delves into the character more.
Yeah.
So whenever he has like, I know he's eventually going to run out of like MJF backstories.
Yeah.
But until he does, I like them all.
I loved that MJF didn't like that he was being called kid. Meanwhile, he's like, what? He's like 25, 26.
26, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He's legit a kid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I found that hilarious.
Also, I like that the crowd booed Regal. I like Liam Regal, but in the sense of AEW in the storyline, they were right to boo him. So nice job.
Yes.
The crowd was good on Dynamite. I liked them.
It was a very good crowd.
The only time they weren't was what we're going to talk about later is during the Swerve stuff. They kind of annoying, but otherwise good crowd.
Yeah, I agree. Well, you brought it up, so let's go to that. What did you think of that?
This is exactly what I want.
Yes.
Like they both kind of done nothing for a while, so I want to see this.
Here's your token. God, Swerve is so cool.
He is.
He is.
And it was perfect because he cut the Swerve's promo. Like that annoyed me. Like the crowd, he talked slowly, and the crowd was like jeering and whatting him. Like, stop with the what chants. It was annoying in like 2002 when it started. Like it's beyond annoying to stop. Never do it again. It's the worst thing. Second worst thing Steve Austin's ever done. We're not going to get into the actual worst thing. But
yes.
But yeah, stop. Don't do it anymore. It's bad. But the promo itself was great. I love that Swerve, like, again, he's like mixed reality into the story. Like, you signed your big contract and got back with your friends and now you don't care anymore. Like you were world champion and now you're not even on shows and you are fine with that because like you have your friends and you have your contract. So like, yeah, it was great.
So good. He made fun of his quote unquote gut. Dude has abs.
And I like that Hangman like didn't have anything really to say because his character kind of lacks obviously does lack confidence, right? So the fact that Swerve called him out on stuff that you could tell he realized was true, and he's like, well, fine, have a match. It's like the equivalent of like, well, fine, you're stupid anyway, and just like walking off. Yeah. Like, it was good. It's good stuff.
It was so good.
Now who wins this feud? Because they both kind of need it.
Honestly, I'd like to see Swerve do it.
Same here.
I would love to see Swerve do it.
Yeah.
Same here. Because that would put Swerve like up a level.
Yeah. You know? I know Hangman hasn't done much in a while, but I think he's kind of always going to be over. Yeah. And so I don't think he needs it.
That's what I was just going to say. Does he really even need it? It's going to be so
unless they're pushing him back to the world title. Like if they want Hangman to go back to the world title status, then have him win. But otherwise, I would really like it to be Swerve because Swerve hasn't done much in a while. Like, he didn't get the blow off feud with Keith Lee. He his stuff has been cool that he's been doing, but he doesn't really have like any big wins. He doesn't have any big feuds. So that would be great.
Keith Lee did acknowledge that this week, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, and he stopped wearing his cape.
Oh, good choice. It was a great choice.
That was an example of
maybe it was a Shaw, Rick.
That was an example of like obviously WWE telling you what to do all the time. Bad. Yeah. But obviously like they have to tell you what to do sometimes because otherwise you show up in a cape.
Yes. Yeah. Like a wizard's cape.
Like not even like a cool cape. Like a weird wizard's cape. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like an overly flamboyant wrestling cape or it was a legit like you look like you could have been on the Fellowship of the Rings.
Yeah, it was weird.
Anyway,
I hope it's Swerve. I definitely hope it's Swerve because he needs something. Like he's we always talk about how cool he is, but like he's also a great wrestler. He's a great character. He's a great talker. Like I love that he said he was in the coffin for a week.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Like they closed the coffin and he sat there for a week. Like that's great. I hope he wins.
Same here. Before we move on, congratulations to Prince Nana re-signing or renegotiating whatever he did.
Yeah.
He upped
could
his
do that.
contract.
He can do that dance again when Swerve comes out. No one can see that, but I did the dance while I talked about it.
Oh, when you did it?
It was probably the whitest
dance.
thing that the earth has ever seen.
Well, it should be.
Yes.
I just love Swerve comes out like the coolest guy in the world with like a trench coat and his hands in his pockets and just like walk into the ring. And then beside him is like this slightly older man just like doing the lamest dance ever. And it works. Like it works.
And it works.
It's great.
Well, you're going to have to lead the next segment because I was playing Starfield and not watching Rampage. So.
Is this Rick's rant?
This is the one of. Yes.
This is Canada Rick rant.
Yep, there we go. Yeah.
All right.
I don't instill the same fear as Samoa Joe, but I do have a rant. Now Sammy Guevara and Jericho had their match on Dynamite, and then they got in an argument afterwards. Fine.
It's Jericho focused? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so surprised.
I know. And then anyway, so then on Collision, Jericho does not Collision, Rampage. Jericho does commentary as he does. Right. And then so he said, I forget even how it started. He said something about Sammy being like, yeah, they were getting on each other's nerves, and then Sammy came out and was like, I'm upset with you too. And then Jericho goes, well, I'm upset with you too. How about we have a match at Grand Slam? And then they're like, okay. And they shook hands and then did a bunch of poses together. And I'm like, they should have a match at Grand Slam. They should, because they should have a falling out. But I hate that, like, it's like a cheesy, like, we're going to have a match. And then like they should hate each other. Like they're supposed to hate each other. So I get what they're doing, that they're like doing it as like, we're going to have a match out of respect. And then we're going to,
like pass the torch moment or something.
We're going to settle it. And then we'll be going to, like Jericho said, we're going to settle it and then be able to like be friends again. Because now we've had the match and we know what would happen. But like, and I know that's not going to happen, obviously. Like whoever wins is going to be happy and whoever loses is going to be mad. But I wish that they would just do it. I wish Sammy had left months ago. And like, this was like the build up to like a blood feud, because these guys are like, they've been the one relationship that's been together for the whole of Dynamite. And it's a cheesy way to end it, in my opinion. It should be like it should be tougher. It should be more angry than it is. And I think maybe they're going to get there. Like maybe Sammy wins and then Jericho attacks him afterwards and it becomes a thing. But like, don't stretch it out even. Just Sammy win and then that's it. Like then they move on. Like I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah, after you explain it, that has the makings of, this is going to go on way too long.
Yeah, it has the makings of Jericho's going to lose.
Right.
And then Sammy's going to attack him. Jericho's going to attack Sammy from behind. And then Sammy's going to be like, I thought we were still going to be friends. And Jericho's going to be like, no, we're not. And then they're going to have another match. Like, no. Yeah. Like,
we're not friends anymore.
Yeah, just have the match. Sammy go, I beat you. And then go on to do something else.
Yeah. Simple as can be.
I saw a theory on Reddit today that it was that it doesn't matter who, but Sammy will join Don Callis. I'm like,
I'm okay with that.
Man, two punchable faces at once.
I don't like it because I think Sammy's managed to somehow get over as a heel. He managed to even get over as a face. Like, I don't want him to be in a thing. He's been in a group the whole time.
True.
He's been in a group for a long time. He should just do, like, he can talk. He's a decent talker. Like, he doesn't need a group. Just let him be the orange role for a while. Let him just go out and have matches and like get himself over and then get over that way. Like, he doesn't need a thing, in my opinion.
He's also probably going to be gone on maternity leave here in a bit too. Or paternity, whatever.
That is
he'll be gone for a little while. Oh, that's how it's going to happen. He's going to win Grand Slam, and then Jericho's going to be mad, and he's going to throw fire in his face or something. And then Sammy's going to be out for a couple months. That's what they're going to do.
You hit the nail on the head with that one.
And then 3 or 4 months from now, Sammy's going to come back and they'll have another match. And this time it's going to be some stipulation where like Jericho can't wear a shirt, and then it's going to be a whole thing.
Okay.
Jericho puts weird stipulations on his matches sometimes. And then the Painmaker will come out and he'll like, I have different face paint. I'm a different person. I don't know.
Unreal. That was great. It was a great 5 minutes.
But yeah, that's the match will be fine. Like they're both decent. Like they're both good wrestlers. Like Jericho's had good matches. I just don't like the rest of the stuff he does.
Like you always say, it's always one act too many.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Anyway, moving on to Collision. I don't know. Biddy hasn't seen Collision, I don't think.
I haven't seen any of them this week. I told you I'm unprepared. I'm
there
the
you
worst co-host for this. People are gonna riot. Why is she on? She's an idiot.
Wow. Rick got her bus on that one.
So on that note, though, what did you think of this? Was like the first real like CM Punk free Collision, because the last one they probably booked it while he's still working there. So this is like the no CM Punk Collision. What did you think?
I thought it was great. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was definitely I still thought it was the best show of the week. Like Collision has been my favorite show since it started.
Mm-hmm.
It was still the best show of the week for me. I did feel like it was a little bit more filler this week. Like they had people on like they had Gravity on Collision, right? In the Luchadors.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I missed Excalibur for, because they had like Gravity, who I've seen before, and then two other Luchadors that I don't know who they are. And no one explained who they were. Like Excalibur would have quickly gone over their entire backstory in 30 seconds. Whereas the rest of them were just like, oh, so I'm sorry, I forget their names. And they're in a match now. I'm like, oh, okay, why are they in a match now? Who are they? What? Like that was the one time where I agree with the internet being, you just can't just throw people on TV and not tell me who they are, because they literally didn't tell you who they were.
It was Aerostar and Diaz del Infamundo.
Yes, and it was supposed to be
butchered.
And
that.
I know it was supposed to be Metalik too, because Jay White was supposed to be in the match, and then he couldn't.
Oh, okay. So
they pulled Metalik. But yeah, like I don't know who these guys are. Are they going to be on again? Like I don't know anything about them.
The only thing that Aerostar, I could be wrong. His name sounded familiar. I think he has wrestled on Dark or something before, but I could be wrong.
It would have been nice to have Excalibur for this.
I agree.
To like, because he would have given you a quick primer on who these people are and why you should care about them. And Kevin Kelly had an especially bad week, in my opinion.
Oh, I saw him getting a lot of hate on the internets.
I know he does get a lot of hate, and I've never really had a problem with him until this week. But this week, he kept referencing All In. He mixed up All In and All Out a bunch of times, which I understand, because he was just like, Miro fought Hobbs in front of 81,000 people. I'm like, no, he didn't. Yeah. Nope, that didn't happen.
I mean, technically, they started it there, but
but the match didn't happen there.
No, right.
And then he called it ROH once. Like he was just like, and this is what's happening at ROH next week. And I'm like, nope, that's AEW.
Yeah.
For all the knocks and that some of us here give Jim Ross for being a little less than his peak. Kevin Kelly screwed up way more than Jim Ross ever does.
Yeah, and that's very not Kevin Kelly like. Kevin Kelly like. That's perfect. It's not
really
like him
that was your opening.
Oh, whoops.
I know. I
was sticking up for Kevin Kelly. My apologies.
But yeah, it was fine. Like Collision was good. I still enjoyed it more than the rest of the shows. It did feel a little bit more like, I guess I know it's the week after a pay-per-view, and the week before another big event, and the week before another big event. So I get why it was a bit more filler, but it seemed a little bit like I think the old Collision felt like it had a smaller roster of people who didn't hate CM Punk, and they just like the 20 of them just had like really tight focused matches. Whereas now it's kind of open to the whole roster because they don't have a crazy tyrant backstage punching people and
choking them out.
Yeah, and it seems a little like it was a little more full, like too full. But hey, what do you know?
I'm sure they'll balance it out. I mean, with all of the fallout and stuff, like, they've still got to be kind of like, oh.
Yeah, especially because, Tony Khan books everything really far in advance. I'm sure he booked a lot of stuff for Punk, and then he's just not there anymore. So now they have to kind of figure out what to do.
So, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be an adjustment period.
Yeah. And speaking of filling in for CM Punk, once again, Jon Moxley opened the show.
Yes, he did. I would like, just before we move on, the person or people that do the beginning of Collision every week, they're incredible.
I love that. Yeah.
Literally make a new beginning to the show every week. Like that's nuts.
And based on the matches that are happening on that show, it's great. I love it.
It's the coolest feature. It's anyways, moving on.
I think it's great.
I love it. Mox versus Action Andretti. I'm going to give the floor to you again, Rick, because I think you have something to say.
I mean, I kind of talked about it a little bit. Like, first of all, you can't beat Mox. Like, Action Andretti, especially. Like, he's not going to beat Mox. Also,
beat Jericho, though.
Yeah. That seems like so long ago now, though.
Well, yeah, and looking back, it's like, what was the point, almost?
I know it was to establish him as a guy. Like, he would, like...
Right.
But it seems like it was forever ago that he beat Jericho.
It didn't seem to lead to... I don't know. I mean, yeah, he's been in matches stuff, but nothing that's been like... Yeah.
I agree.
Well, I was going to say what hurt him, honestly, is when Dante Martin got hurt because they had the trios.
Yeah.
And like Dante and Darius were kind of, I don't want to say they were the stars, but Action Andretti was like in the back seat learning the ropes. And then, Dante gets hurt. And then all of a sudden, as you just said, Rick, Tony Khan, probably had 7 months worth of TV for those guys.
Right.
So now he doesn't know what's going on. So Andretti's kind of been lost in the shuffle here. And same with Darius Martin yet again.
Now, what do you think of? It seems like there's a lot of open challenges. Moxley has his open challenge going, which is like carried over from Orange. But then later, Chris Statlander had an open challenge. And then FTR has now decided they're going to offer open challenges. Like, it just seems like they're going to get people on TV this way by having open challenges. But like, none of them are going to win the match. Like, Robin Renegade was not beating Chris Statlander. Action Andretti was not beating Mox. Like, I get putting them on TV so they get a chance to do something, but it just seems like they're doing this in lieu of a feud. They're just having everyone do open challenges.
I was just going to say, well, could that very well be that because they just threw everything CM Punk had written into trash and you had, 6 days or whatever to write another show?
That's probably the case because I'm sure I'm sure, first of all, Tony Khan planned a lot for CM Punk, but I'm sure also Punk planned a lot for himself and the show. Yeah.
So it's just, that's the easiest way. Like, hey, who could step up? Hey, we need you and you. Perfect. Let's go.
Right.
Like,
yeah. It is like, there is like an adjustment period, but especially just because Punk was not only like a main event guy, but also clearly had a lot to do with like the booking of Collision.
Right. Well, moving along, Chris Statlander versus Robin Renegade. You brought it up. Shout out to the Renegades. They have worked their way up from Dark and Elevation to, it was awesome to see Robin on Collision.
I mean, she impressed me. Like, I've only seen her a couple times, but she did good. Like, she was good.
Yeah. The Renegade Twins are very good. Well, spoiler alert, Biddy, if you haven't found out yet, squash match. But
I saw it. Yeah.
Okay. Jade returned.
Biddy's favorite wrestler, Jade, was back.
Don't get me wrong, man. She looks awesome. She looks like she should be a superhero.
She does.
The wrestling just leaves in the storyline. I mean, at least now she's got a bit of a storyline with Chris, because otherwise, oh my god.
See, what bothered me about that is I think what they're going to do is I think she's back just to lose a straight one-on-one match to Chris, because Chris Statlander didn't beat her in like a fair match, right? She beat her after she'd already wrestled a match, so they want to have an actual one-on-one match against each other. It bugged me that Jade was back and like she looked like she was going to be, a face or a different character, and then now she grabbed the TBS title and Mark Sterling showed up. I'm like, no, don't. Like, I like Jade, but don't just go back to her and Mark Sterling and the TBS. Like, that's too much. They can't do it again.
Right. That's what I mean. I'm like, I get the hype. Like I said, she looks amazing. I mean, yeah, she looks like a superhero. She looks like she could crush most of the men on the roster, let alone the women. But It's like the wrestling is still raw, which, okay. But God, the story got so stale.
Yeah. I think she needs to drop Mark Sterling because she doesn't need Mark Sterling. She's pretty good at promos at this point.
I agree.
And I think she should be a face. Like, people like her. I think her story of like, she's a mom and her daughter watches, like sometimes her daughter's been at ringside.
Right.
Like, that makes her a face. Like, people like her. She she looks cool. She looks like a superhero. Like, just make her a superhero who like
Right.
do that. Like, she doesn't have to be like a cocky heel. Just have her be like tough superhero who beats people up.
Right. And yeah, I think it was like, yeah, that cocky heel that I'm just like, I don't know. It feels like overdone.
Yeah. And when
For
she came
certain
back,
people,
against Chris, people, not against Chris, to like help Chris, people like cheered. And I don't think it's just because she was back. I think it's because people want to cheer for her. Like, she was getting cheers before she left. Like, just make her like a badass superhero who like fights people.
Yeah.
That's a great point. I never looked at it that way, because I like bad Jade, but yeah, I mean, you guys just kind of got the gears turning now. I might think differently.
I think she'd be an awesome, like, tough, like, superhero face. Like, yeah, she's a mom and she has a kid, but then she goes out and smashes people and just like ruins people. Like, that would be great. It'd be cool. And then like have her like, make a stable of women to go against her, and like she has to fight off 3 people at a time or something, right? Like, because she could. So just do that. That would be cool.
Right. I mean, there's a lot you can do with her. It's just you need to figure out and do it and not make it so bland.
If she goes back to like Jade with Mark Sterling, and that's, I don't want to see that again.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like, there's a lot of potential there, and I just feel like what they did with her, before was just so like, I'm like, did you pick the most bland path you could, and how do you do it with someone who looks like that? Like, and yet they figured out a way to do it.
And not only does she look like that, like she has a cool personality. Like, she's like,
she's confident.
She's confident. She like can speak pretty well. She's like, she has like, maybe not the wrestling, but other than that, she has
everything else.
And the wrestling's getting better.
Yeah.
So
that's what I was just gonna say. Let's not forget, like, she's only wrestled like about 20 matches, or well, more than that.
No, she was 60. No,
yeah,
so she wrestled 60.
I mean,
60. So
most of those were trash, but
like her last match with Taya, I know that a lot of that was Taya, but that was a great match.
Yeah,
it was. Yes, it was.
Like, give her matches like that where she's up against more experienced people. Like her match with, like, her one-on-one match that she's probably going to have with Stat will probably be great.
We'll even have it where she isn't just this dominant monster anywhere, where she does lose, and she's like, she goes through a bit of stuff like, am I as good? What was that? Was that beginner's luck type of thing? Like, have her go through those kind of motions.
Yeah, and now that she's lost, you can do that.
Right, and like, you can really build it into kind of this like, I fell off, I fell off the horse, but I'm getting back on. I'm getting, just kind of that like rebuilding confidence.
Yeah.
I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah,
I want to see her do really great stuff.
Right, exactly. I would be way more interested in her if it was more like that, like where she does look like a superhero and everything, but she also is human and has these,
Yeah.
It doesn't come so easily to her anymore, type of thing.
Now, we talked about last week how Tony Khan seems to have a problem booking like big guys, like Wardlow or Lance Archer or Hobbs or Miro. Like, he just can't book them properly. Like, they come and they dominate and then they disappear for a while. Like, is he going to have that same problem with Jade, because she's sort of the female equivalent of like a Wardlow?
I don't know. I mean, Chris is a big girl too. She's like 5'11".
Yeah.
I mean, she's not as ripped as Jade, but most human beings aren't. However,
Jade doesn't look like a human being. She looks like an action figure that you
like
made.
a comic book character come to life.
Yeah.
But
she's one of the few wrestlers that looks like her action figure. Like, that's legit.
Yeah.
They're built the same.
So it's I don't know. I love Tony Khan and I think he does great things, but like, to see Jade as who she is, like, she is a comic book character come to life, and how do you can't screw that up. Like, she's
right.
True.
And I think Tony Khan, like, hits more than misses, but I feel like this is where he should get someone who, everyone has weaknesses, and this certain booking to certain people, it's a weakness for him. Get someone who's really freaking good at that stuff.
Yeah, I think that's where, and from all I've read, he seems to be really close with Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
And I hope, and Danielson knows how to book himself, at least. I don't know if he ever booked other people, but he's booked himself in like storylines where he gets to be the tough guy kicking people, where he gets to be the underdog, where he gets to be the slimy heel. Like, he's managed to write all that. So he can write a variety of characters. And
I get this feeling from Danielson that he's not afraid to, again, like, where he has weaknesses, he'll get the right people to counter those weaknesses. Like
Yeah.
I think he's already shown he does not have an ego.
Oh
like
no,
some
not at
people.
all. Yeah,
And
yeah.
so
You said in our like offline that like he's what CM Punk wants to be, and you're right. Like I
Yeah.
I love CM Punk,
Yeah.
but
CM
Danielson
Punk,
is like
Danielson is this quiet leader, does it by example, puts over everyone else. Like, you know, he leads by example, and that's everything CM Punk couldn't do.
he put everyone else kind
Sure.
of to a fault. Like he could have come in and won the AEW title, and
Oh, yeah.
no one would be upset. Like
And
they'd
he's
all
like,
be
I don't
happy.
want it. He's like,
Yeah.
I never want it. I don't want it. I
Yeah,
don't need it.
yeah. Well, let's talk about that before. Now that we're talking about Danielson, he announced that he's
Okay.
stepping away from like permanent, full-time ring work in like the next year.
Mhm.
I don't blame him. He's like, what, 43?
Yeah, and he's
Hey.
he's gone through a lot.
He's got a young family. Shut up, Josh.
But like, I mean, he's been on borrowed time for a while, right? Because they told him he'd never wrestle again like 5 years
Right.
ago. So he's been on borrowed time. I love that like he announced that like I'm gonna step away from like full-time wrestling. Not wrestling totally. I'll still do it, just not
Right.
all the time.
Well, and I am sure he's going to be totally back, behind the scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems to where he's, been transitioning for the last couple of years, and he seems legit happy with that.
But I love that he decided he's stepping away from full-time wrestling, and his like most wrestlers at this stage in their career would be like, but what I want is I want to win one more world title, or what I want is I want something else. All he wants is to have the best wrestling matches he can have. Like he doesn't care about titles.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He just wants to like, okay, I want to face Jack Sabre Jr. because that would be a great match. Like he just wants to like,
so good.
he just wants to have incredible wrestling matches like with the time he has left in the ring, and that's so cool.
That's
It
someone
is.
who, could have a giant ego and kind of like, yeah, he earned it because he's so good. And he doesn't at all. He seems like just such a humble dude that just loves wrestling and wants to make it as best as for everyone else too.
Yeah. How do you even do that? It's like he's good at literally everything to do with wrestling, like all of it. How do
And
you
he's
have?
so humble.
How do you not have an ego? Like he's the best at everything.
Is he the Sidney Crosby of professional wrestling? Dead serious.
That's a good comparison.
Yeah, he's incredibly good. Like he's just so good. He's like, and he seems just like a good person too. Like he's just yeah.
And again, Mox, I mean, yeah, you would never say, but Mox is the best wrestler in the world. He's excellent at his style of wrestling,
Right.
but he also seems to have like very little ego.
Yeah.
Again, going back to saying he'll probably be wrestling in a bingo hall with 30 people watching him when he's 70.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't care about any of that. He just wants to do wrestling and make it look great.
I feel like
True.
Danielson and Moxley and probably Kenny Omega are kind of similar, that they just want to like go have good matches.
Yeah.
And I feel like they
I
don't
can see
care
that.
they don't care about like backstage stuff. Like they don't care about any of the nonsense. They just want to have good matches.
Well, and that's why people look to them as leaders and not people like CM Punk, who has a raging ego.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like CM Punk is also great at a lot of stuff, but yeah, he's also so he has.
He can get out of his own way. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a great point. That's great words. He can't get out of his own way. That's perfectly said.
I think I saw someone say on the same vein that, not to make this a Punk thing, but like he somehow chose the hardest option at any point where he had an option to choose what to do. Like he would choose the more difficult one, where like
He can't.
And I don't know why.
You know who kicks CM Punk's ass the most? His own damn foot.
Right. Yeah.
Like
it just he went to choose, like when it comes up like, oh, the Elite were messing around with you backstage, you could talk to them privately backstage. You could tell Tony Khan that you don't like this, or you could just go on a random tirade. I'm gonna choose random tirade.
Yeah.
Right. Like, oh, a guy mouthed off to you on TV. You can like tell him off backstage. Again, you can talk to him. You can ignore it. You can try to choke him. I'm gonna choose try to choke him. Right. Like it's just,
you're 44 years old, dude.
Yeah. He always he's great.
Like
you could
see you could see like a 24-year-old kid acting like that, not 44, man.
Yeah, he makes things difficult for himself, and he won't get out of his own way, and he just it's frustrating.
Okay, so I have to make this analogy now. Is Punk the Homer Simpson of professional wrestling?
No, because Homer Simpson stumbles into good things, without deserving those things. And like Punk is good.
That's true.
Like he's legitimately good. He just, I don't know. I don't know. He just won't get out of his. Yeah, he won't. Biddy's right. He won't get out of his own way. He won't
his ego won't let him. Like
he won't just wrestle and cut promos and
just shut up, go wrestle
and book Matt. Like he'd probably be a good booker if he wasn't involved. Like if he was going to book for other people, I think he would do a great job of it. But he can't do it when it involves him.
He just he's gotta be number one, and boy, he's got the A part of that real good.
Whereas like Danielson, who is on par, if not much better than him, is also, a great wrestler, also a great promo. And like, he never books himself to do it. He never, he could have walked into AEW and said, I'll sign here, but you have to make me champion right away.
Right.
And didn't, and seems perfectly happy where he is.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And that's those like just total contrasts into wrestlers is Bryan Danielson and CM Punk. Danielson gets respect because he gives respect. CM Punk demands respect and gave no respect. Like that's Danielson is just, like I said, everything that CM Punk wishes he was.
Yeah, both for their contributions on air, they should both be respected. But you're right, Punk asks for it or demands it when he could just act.
Just lead by example.
Right.
And
don't
follow his example, kids, because he led like poo poo.
Yeah.
Straight up poopy. Bad leader. Don't do it.
But how good is Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. going to be?
Oh man.
They have to minimum an hour, right?
Like that could be the whole show. Like they could just go, this is all we're doing. And I'd be like, yeah, okay, here's my money.
This is Wrestle Dream. That's it.
Because that's what it's going to be. Like, it's going to be like a pure rules wrestling match. Like, it's got to be like an hour.
Is that the main event? It's got to be.
It has to be.
Unless they do a title match or something.
And it's in Washington. It's in
Washington. So, it'll be up there.
It has to be.
Yeah.
And they won't have any shirts for him.
Nope.
Well, he'd be happy with that because it's better for the environment.
Right.
So
unless it's organic cotton.
That's right.
True. That is true.
I don't know. You probably haven't watched it. If you haven't seen his run when he was the Planet's champion in WWE, where he won the title and then made like an organic hemp version of the title.
Oh, God.
That title was incredible because
the whole run. The whole run was incredible. It was great. It was like such good TV, and it was so different from anything he did before, but he did it it was amazing.
He's a genius. He was like the world champion, but like worlds in quotes, as in like he protected the world, right?
He's a champion of the world. Yes,
right.
He protects the world. Yeah.
It was
I never watched, like I said, I had not watched wrestling since sorry, I had to burp, since the Attitude Era. And so I missed all of CM Punk, Danielson, everything.
Yeah.
So I didn't know a lot about him. I'm like, okay, yeah, I've seen the yes thing online, and I, had saw some, GIFs and clips or whatnot, but didn't really know.
Did you say GIFs?
I knew it. I knew it.
Come on. I was just about to say it too.
How could you?
I say GIFs. The guy who invented them called them GIFs.
Doesn't matter. It's wrong.
Suck my balls. You can suck my GIFs.
It's wrong. It's wrong. It's not GIFs.
Yeah.
How dare you? I'm gonna give you a nice. I was gonna give you a nice Christmas GIF.
You don't say giraffe, do you? No, you say giraffe.
Do you say gift?
No, I say gift.
I say gift.
Like you want to get a Christmas gift? That's what you're saying. Oh, it's my birthday. I got some really good gifs this year. No, you don't say that.
Maybe I do. You don't know me. Well, now I forgot. Oh, well, anyway, yeah. So
you didn't know Danielson.
Yeah. And I have just been, I heard all the, oh my God, he's the best world. Blah, blah, blah. And since his AEW run, I'm like, he's worth all the hype plus more. I'm like,
he's incredible.
That guy deserves every accolade and whatnot.
And I think it was Sports Illustrated had an article on how he's like winding down. He's not retiring. He's just going to like wrestle less often. But basically it said that him and Tony Khan have become really close. So they think that he's just going to resign in like a backstage role when
Yeah.
his wrestling role, because he hit Tony Khan and him get along really well because they're both
And
giant wrestling nerds.
Yeah, and he'd be. I mean, he's already showing he's perfect for that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I was thinking about this, like with all the news, like starting tomorrow, Vince no longer owns the majority of WWE.
That's a shame.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, what a pity.
like people are like, oh, Danielson, he'll go back one day, blah blah blah. Like he might accept a Hall of Fame bid, but there's no way he goes back to like a corporate machine.
No. Well, you can tell he's having the time of his life
yeah,
right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He loves like wrestling too much.
Yes. Yeah, like there's no chance that I just don't see that happening.
No.
Like for Hall of Fame, they would let him go. Absolutely.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, but
as after that, that'll be the end of that story.
No, I think he and Mox,
oh yeah,
they're lifers. They're lifers.
100%.
The interesting thing about Danielson was always like Mox or Punk or a lot of other guys who left WWE like angry, right? Like we hated it there. They treated us badly. Danielson was like, no, it was great. I wanted to do this stuff now. Like he wasn't mad. He just like wants to do other wrestling. Like he's just such a. I feel like he's just like the nicest guy.
He seems so. Oh yeah, he seems so mellow.
Yeah.
Just even and then he gets on wrestling and he's like, I'm gonna kick your ass. And then
I love that. I forget his quote on Collision. On Collision, it was like, and we're gonna go on an audiastic journey through. Like he went like a really like descriptive like journey of his. We're gonna kick a bunch of heads in. Like, it was great. It was great. Well, the opposite of Danielson in terms of personality, Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston.
He's not the most mellow person you'd ever meet.
He's not a mellow man.
No, he's not at all. But he had a challenge for Claudio that has been accepted. Again, I feel like this could have used Excalibur because they alluded to, and I looked it up, why they're mad at each other. And they alluded to why they're mad at each other. But again, they needed Excalibur to come and quickly tell us in 30 seconds why they're mad at each other. Because Eddie was just like, you didn't do things the right way. And Claudio was like, well, you didn't have the match. Like they just, and it's, oh, so you do remember, but they never actually said what it was. But the match is going to be cool.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
I hope Eddie wins.
I think Eddie does win.
So someone's having 2 titles.
Now, the only way I think Eddie doesn't win is if they want him to win the AEW title as a first world title, because they're planning on having him win the AEW title.
True.
But otherwise...
I don't know about that.
Because it would be it's in New York, but like it'd be a big deal to have him win. But if his first world title is the ROH quote unquote world, it's not really a world title like at this point.
But I just don't see. I mean, I know I love Eddie, he's great, but I just don't see him as main world title.
Interesting.
I could see him having like a short run, like a Mick Foley run with it, where he doesn't have it for a long time.
Now, actually, if you want to talk about something taking the international title off of Mox, I could see Eddie Kingston doing that.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah, I want that now.
That would be very good.
Now I want that. That would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be.
I just I don't see him like, he's like 40. I don't know. I just don't see him being AEW world title.
I could only see it on like a Mick Foley-ish run where he wins it and it's a big moment, and then like 2 months later he loses it.
So
maybe at most, but
interesting to me. Interesting.
I can't see him carrying it for a long time, but I would like him to win it. I think that would be great.
Wow. I will kindly disagree with all of that. I mean, I think he's going to get a run. Like I really do. Like a legit long run as the AEW champion. But now after Rick brought up, I don't know if he's going to win the match for the Ring of Honor title though, because the first one you want to be a major one. I get that.
Now that Biddy said the Mox thing, I want Mox to screw him out of this match. And then
now that would be awesome.
Yeah.
And then he gets in a feud with Mox. Now I want that.
Well, maybe
I almost feel like that would be more interesting than anything they could do with the world title.
Yeah, him and Mox in like an actual like real feud. would be great.
How about Mox screws him at Grand Slam, and since it's an open challenge, Eddie just rolls over in the ring and says, "We're going right now."
Yeah. Okay.
Crowd goes utterly bananas, and then Eddie not destroys him, but they have a banger. Eddie somehow wins. The crowd goes even more bananas.
Yeah, and then I want them to have a feud, though. I want them to have an actual feud where they cut promos on each other.
Oh yeah.
Those promos would be.
Oh, I don't know if you'd allowed to put it on television. Well, I liked at the end of the promo when Shivani told him to calm down. He went, "Calm down, my ass." I was like, "This is the greatest line ever."
I also like that he threw off his hat and then like stood up to storm away and then went back and got his hat.
It up. Yeah, because he's too polite to like. He had to go get it.
That was great. Now promos. Speaking of promos,
yes.
CJ Perry, the unnamed wife of Miro.
Yes.
What a promo.
What a promo.
She can cut promos. I didn't know that.
Because she worked in WWE before this.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. That is not one thing I saw yet.
Oh, it was really good.
It was really good.
Like no offense to her, but way better than I expected. Like it was really, really good.
I mean, there were levels to it. There was like, she just had the pizzazz in her voice or something. Like,
yeah.
Gravitas.
I forgot. Yeah. I forgot that she doesn't actually have an accent when she started talking.
That made me so mad. I was like, WWE could ruin anything. And
yeah, they made her talk in like that weird Russian accent. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Let's culturally appropriate somebody.
Oh, don't hire a Russian person to do this job.
Yeah. No. No.
Well, I mean, like Rusev is from Bulgaria, so like it's the same, right?
Exactly.
I love when they were calling him Russian, but he has a tattoo of Bulgaria on his arm.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, if you're a certain
that's
Russia's rightful territory.
If you're a very old man, you don't care about those things.
But Bulgaria, Russia, what's the difference?
But she alluded to that, saying like, I used to be like the hardest manager in wrestling. Yes. Maybe I'll go back to that. What does that mean?
I think everyone suspects that it means she's gonna manage Miro, but I don't think she's gonna manage Miro.
Yeah, who is it then? Is it
Hobbs?
Or?
I mean, if it was Hobbs, like that would be like expected. I was hoping she'd manage Ricky Starks.
I thought Hobbs or Wardlow.
Both of those people need a manager, and she makes sense.
I just thought Ricky Starks doesn't need anyone.
He doesn't, but I just thought that'd be a cool little curveball. I don't know.
I hope it's Hobbs or Wardlow because they both need something, and she's obviously now, I can tell, very good at promos.
Yes.
So I actually hope it's Wardlow more than Hobbs, but either one would work.
Now,
what about them together?
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Or that
they could just crush people.
Yeah.
What if she starts a stable? It's a trios of Wardlow, Hobbs, and Miro.
The Big Boys Club.
Yeah, like how remember the Brood with Edge and Christian and Gangrel when Gangrel was with Christian, and then they kind of slowly brought Edge over to their side.
I do remember that actually.
Do that. Yes. Have her manage Hobbs and Wardlow to like destroy Miro, and then eventually have him be like, you know what? I'm just going to join with them because that makes more sense.
That would be incredible. Oh, I forgot about it.
Yes.
They have to call it like the Meat Boys or something.
Yeah, something with
meat.
Yeah, for
the
sure.
Oh, it can't be the Meat Men. That's a band.
Minnow Meat.
Yeah, there you go.
Beef Tex.
I was gonna ask something I can't remember. Oh, can she wrestle?
I mean, not well. But again, it was in WWE, so I don't know. Right? Like I didn't know she could promos either. So I mean, she did wrestle. She was fine, but like she can do it. But I wouldn't consider her very an expert at it or anything. But she was fine.
Okay, because I was just
also WWE mostly let her do like scrap fights where she just like threw her shoes off and hits. Like she didn't have too many actual wrestling matches. So
I got you.
Maybe she can, and we just don't know about it.
Okay, because I was wondering if she would wrestle in AEW, but interesting.
She doesn't even have a name yet, so
that is true. Like,
It seems because they've been promoting her. Like, I think she's just going by CJ.
Yeah.
yeah, but they did make the point of say nobody even knows her name yet.
Yeah, they made a point to
Oh.
mention she doesn't have a name, so
Yeah,
Interesting.
it is very.
maybe they're trying to see what they want to name her. I don't know, but it'll be fun. It'll be good.
I'm down. This week's going to be interesting, so we'll segue into upcoming.
Yes.
This week, tournament finale. We already kind of went over that, so okay, we'll just put everybody on the spot. Everybody pick. Is it going to be Joe or Roderick Strong?
Joe.
Joe.
Yeah, I think Joe. And
Joe?
they'll save the strong stuff for later.
Yeah.
I think Joe also. Now this is interesting. We have a women's fatal four-way, not a fatal four-way, excuse me, just a women's four-way between Britt, Nyla, Toni Storm, excuse me, and Hikaru Shida. And this is for a chance at Saraya. Is this at Grand Slam? Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was Grand Slam or Wrestle Dream.
No, Grand Slam.
Man, Grand Slam's going to be a banger. Who wins this?
Can we just talk about Tony? Can we talk
I
about
was
Tony?
just gonna say.
Yeah.
I was like, we cannot end this without.
We have to talk about Tony Storm.
Oh,
Chits
absolutely.
out and watch out for the shoe.
The greatest line I've ever like her
Yes.
floating away going, watch out for the shoe. And then Renee's like, what? And then a shoe.
And then it shoots goes flying. Great.
This is great. And it gets better every week.
It does.
She is killing it.
She really
Yes,
is. She's another one who like I didn't know had like a big personality, but she does. Like she's always been like just a wrestler. Her gimmick was like I
Well,
wrestle.
she's kind of like, tough girl, you know,
Yeah.
came out to cool music with the thing under her eye, like,
right.
yeah, and now she's like,
She's like a confused like 1940s starlet. Like it's great.
And I think they fired her because she just wanted to have an OnlyFans where she posed.
No, she just left.
Oh, she left.
She
Okay.
left.
I thought she got fired.
She from what it seems like pulled a Mox on them. We're like, no, don't worry, I'm retiring, and then just left.
It's incredible. I didn't know that.
She told them that like, oh, she like was mad at them, being like, you know, you kind of killed my passion for wrestling. I don't think I want to wrestle anymore. I do want to just do like modeling or whatever. And they're like,
Gotcha.
Okay. And then she was like, actually, you know what? I want to wrestle. And she just like,
and
it
now
was great.
she's like, look at me now.
Yeah,
Good
it's
for
great.
her.
I love how Saraya, especially, but Ruby a little bit, when they talk about her backstage, they're like, no, she's fine. There's something wrong with her, but don't worry, she's
Yeah.
still like, she's
Yeah,
still
no,
with
she's
us.
good.
And
Yeah.
yes, we saw her running around throwing shoes in the parking lot, but she'll be okay. It's great.
Yeah.
They're all doing such a great job with this, especially Tony.
Yeah. Oh, whenever whenever Ruby was like, oh, you know, we saw her in the parking lot half naked throwing shoes at people. I was like, okay, this is amazing. That was the greatest line ever in television. Who wins the four-way match?
I think it's gonna be Tony.
I think it's gonna be Tony too, and
I think
like a Tony
kinda
Storm
has
versus
to be.
Saraya thing.
It kind of has to be. But then again, I thought maybe Nyla wins just because it's like a wild card. But it has to, story-wise, has to be Tony.
It's gotta be Tony.
Yeah, has to be.
Well, I want Nyla to get more involved in this stuff because she is, again, that's someone else they need to let do their thing because she is one of the funniest people on that roster by far.
She is, but I don't know if she's the one that's against it. Like, someone's against it somewhere, and they don't need to be because she's hilarious.
Like, let that, like, yeah, she's this tough, you know, she's a the native beast, but also
Right.
like that. If it's her, they need to convince her. No, you need to do your
Right.
comedy stuff. If it's someone else, they need to shut the hell up and get out of the way.
I
And
agree.
she started that. When was that? It was probably like a year or so ago. But she started to be funny on screen, and then it kind of went away again.
Losing Vicky kind of threw her off too.
I was just gonna say,
But she
whenever
doesn't
they
need
had the
Vicky.
fire.
Oh, she definitely doesn't need Vicky. No.
Oh no. But just the fact that when Vicky went off the deep end, I think that affected Nyla. I'm dead serious.
Yeah, like,
No.
Possibly.
but yeah, she needs to be herself more.
Totally. Yeah, because she's literally as Biddy said, the funniest person on the roster.
Yeah, for sure.
Hangman versus Brian Cage 3. Did we
It's
ever?
the third.
Yeah.
I don't remember Hangman versus Brian Cage 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Really?
Nope.
Wow.
I know that they mentioned. I think I remember him having one match, but I know they mentioned like, oh, the third, like they're continuing their rivalry. And I was just thinking, like, did they really have a rivalry? I know they had a match on pay-per-view once. I remember happening.
I don't even remember that.
On one of the shows, but like I don't know if it was a rivalry.
Why are they struggling so much with Hangman?
Like to get him to do something?
Yeah, like they're gonna pump up this rivalry that was never a rivalry. Like,
well, it's the rubber match. I
but
mean, obviously,
still.
come on, that meant that Brian Cage won one. I was kidding. That was a dig at Cage. Come on.
I know it's part of the feud with Swerve, so it's fine.
Yeah,
but
I'll give them that. It's just, are they really advertising it as like round 3?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the graphic has
kidding.
like Hangman and Cage, and then there's a big 3 in the background. Like it's like Danielson Moxley or Danielson or an Omega 2. Like they're hyping it up like that.
Well, that's a stretch.
That was a real thing.
And I'm sure the wrestling will be just as good.
Yeah, Brian Cage turned around.
I mean he's pretty. Like, he's definitely better. I don't mind him anymore.
He's better than you, or what? What does he say?
Who's better than Cage?
Yeah.
Better.
I mean he's fine, but like
that's it.
This hopefully leads into more stuff just with Swerve because.
Yeah. Oh, that's definitely what it is. I mean, Don Callis has his big reveal.
Ugh.
What is the big reveal going to be?
It's that picture.
It's a picture of something,
right?
Yeah,
but what do you think?
It's just like Kenny Omega with his head chopped off or something. I don't know.
See, I think it's going to be somebody new. Like I was thinking, what if it's Mercedes?
But like, she's the same as Sammy. Like she doesn't need him.
Right, but I mean that'd be a good way to bring her in, though.
And the way to bring her in is she just comes out and challenges Soraya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't need a big. Yeah, you don't need stuff for her. Even I know that, and I didn't watch WWE.
Like Don Callis is good as a manager. Like he's good, cuts good promos. He's better with Takeshita than I thought he was going to be. But I don't like that. I don't get this idea of a family. There is no family. It's him and Takeshita. This is not a stable. He's managing
building it.
He's managing one guy. Like
he's building it.
Yeah, I don't care.
I love Don Callis. I don't know what it is.
I mean, he's good on the mic, but I just don't care about this reveal.
Oh, see, I care about it. I don't know why, but I do.
It's just going to be a painting of something.
Oh, and it's going to be amazing. Anyways, Mox open challenge. Big Bill accepts. Obviously, I mean, we know how that's going to end.
See, this bothered me because he attacked Moxley on what? Collision, right?
Yes.
It bothered me that like as he was attacking Moxley, the graphic was on the bottom of the screen being like, they're facing each other next week. I'm like, why tell us that in 5 minutes?
You're shooting your load a little early there, graphics team.
I remember even when they did that before, when Mox was like, we're going to challenge you to Blood and Guts. And then the Blood and Guts logo showed up. I'm like, yeah, but you shouldn't know that yet. Like the graphics team shouldn't have that information.
I mean, they're really good at their job.
They just have a million graphics made just in case. And they can all
sit around endlessly making random matchup graphics in case.
They're like, guys, it's our time. We did this one.
We did the Bill one. Throw it up.
So that's why the website can't be updated.
That's right.
They're too busy making graphics.
I mean, this match will be fun. Like, I like Big Bill. I think it'll be fun.
He's definitely growing on me too.
And now Ray Phoenix came in, was just like, I'm mad at you too. Like I get what they're trying to do. Like everyone's gunning for Moxley.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Everyone's been gunning for Moxley's for like since the beginning.
Yeah,
so
3.5 years now. So
yeah. So I like Mox a lot and I like his matches, but I don't like his booking because it just seems.
I feel like he needs. I mean. He needs a vacation. Go on a vacation for a couple months, man.
Yeah.
Come back. He'll get a giant pot, man. It'll be fresh.
Yeah. Because it seems like every match is just like Moxley's going to come in and beat somebody up. And I'm like, I know that.
Yeah, it's like I don't think it's his fault. It's not fresh. It's just besides his little stint in rehab, which was what, 2-3 months?
It wasn't even that long, yeah.
Yeah,
it wasn't that long.
He's constantly been there. Take a break, bro. You're almost 38 now. I don't know about you, but I'm almost 38 and I need a dang break.
I think maybe this week he was on both shows because of first of all, they're in Ohio and also the Punk stuff. They felt the need to put him on. Yeah.
He's when Punk screws up, break glass in case of emergency, and it's just Moxley.
You can just sell Punk screwing up and Danielson and Moxley being like, oh, all right.
Oh, Jesus.
Fine. We'll fix
gotta
it.
say nothing.
Yeah.
Mox finishes his cigarette. He's like, all right, let's do this. Who must need it on today?
And now Blasco's favorite match of the week coming up.
I don't even want to talk about it. It pisses me off.
FTR has put out an open challenge, and it's been accepted by the Iron Savages.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they might win.
Yeah, I hope Dax and Cash murder them. All three. It's so horrible. It's the worst gimmick ever.
I don't mind them. I've only seen them a couple times. I don't mind the two guys, whatever they are. They used to be Bear Country, right?
Yes.
I don't mind them. Whoever that guy is, that guy
Jameson
who manages
sucks.
them, I don't like him. He's awful.
1,000% awful. The first time I saw him and he came out, and I was like, oh, this is terrible. And I was like, oh, they're letting him do it again? Okay, he must be someone's friend. And I did it again. I was like, that's even worse. It's like, okay, dude's related to someone because they let him do it a third time, and now he's on TV doing it. Unreal.
I love this because you're the most positive out of the three of us. You kind of like everything, and you just hate these guys.
It's so stupid, and the jokes are so dumb. They're the bad DX jokes of '97. They're the jokes you didn't laugh at in high school,
right?
When you were supposed to laugh.
Yeah, it does seem like dumb jock humor. That's not funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not even self-aware, ironic jock humor. It's I don't know. It's just so dumb.
So you think the Iron Savages have a shot at the titles? Think they're gonna win?
Yes, 1,000%.
FTR's reign ends to the Iron Savages,
and you'll hear my head explode. From Canada, you'll hear my head.
We'll hear a primal scream across the country.
I don't know. I don't know what I'd do. I'd be highly pissed off. We'll say that.
Now, before we get to, I have two questions. I had a question that I wrote down, but I thought of another question. Where is the Elite? They're leading into Grand Slam. Where's Kenny Omega and where are the Young Bucks?
I don't know. Well, the Young Bucks
making their little internet videos.
They should have matches at Grand Slam, shouldn't they? Or at the pay-per-view. They should be doing something.
Yeah, I think they'll have a match at the pay-per-view. I honestly think they were just taking some time to chill and heal up a little bit. I don't know. Didn't the Bucks were on Rampage, correct?
Yeah.
But it was just a stupid match.
It was against Menard and Parker. It was fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't
okay.
I hope they do something because they should do which I guess that leads me into my next question. Is AEW doing too much right now? With the All In and All Out and Grand Slam and Wrestle Dream, and I think it's too much.
I agree.
I think so. And 3 shows a week. I can't keep up.
You could tell because we're pretty much when we have a podcast about it, so we're pretty diehard into this, and we are behind, right? We didn't watch all this. It's I don't know, it's too much, and not only is it too much, too much money to spend on pay-per-views, too much time to spend watching wrestling. It's also just none of this gets attention, right? Because it's just All In, All Out, Grand Slam, Wrestle Dream. It's just they don't build to a property. They don't appreciate it. You don't appreciate it after because it's just the next thing. It's just so much. I'm sure it's all going to be good, but it's just a lot.
And unfortunately, this all stems from the corporate model Like
Yeah.
more is better in
Right.
their
No.
eyes.
No.
Well, no, in their eyes. Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well,
Because
does
I liked the three, like, the 4 pay-per-views a month for a year.
Four
5
pay-per-views
month.
was great.
Don't give them any ideas.
weekly pay-per-views plus 3 shows. Yes.
That was the original business plan for
TNA.
TNA.
Yeah. Hey, it worked out
Whoops.
for them. They still exist.
True.
No one expected that.
True.
Anyway,
is
that's
any-
my question of the week. Is
Yes.
AEW doing too much? So anyone listening,
Yeah,
you
answer it, you nerds.
You can write it on Spotify, or you can X us, or Blue Sky, or Threads, or Carrier Pigeon, or whatever it is that you do.
Morse code.
Morse
Yeah.
code.
Morse code your answers to us. Just like tap it into a machine.
Message in a bottle.
Yeah, all kinds
None of us
stuff.
live on the coast,
Any-
but we'll figure it out.
I live near a lake. That counts.
That does count. Plenty of water. I live by a river, so
Well, there you go.
so
In a
come on,
van.
Biddy.
I live by a river too.
Yeah.
You live in Pittsburgh, isn't it just rivers?
Right.
I see
Not all
the
of Pittsburgh
river
is.
from my house.
It's all rivers. You guys are it's like a bunch of rivers. It's your
Yeah.
thing.
We actually just float around on like
Exactly.
gondolas everywhere,
There you go.
Yes.
That'd be fun.
It's like Venice.
yelling,
But-
"Here we go,
It's- it-
Steelers! Here
yeah.
we go!"
It's the Venice of Pennsylvania.
The Venice of Pennsylvania. It is. Except there's 3 rivers that flow in 2 that make 1, so there's really not 3.
And we have Allegheny jellyfish.
You're gonna make some Pittsburgh people mad by saying there's not 3 rivers.
It's simple math. 2, and at the point they flow into 1, so it's really not 3.
It's still 2 that goes into 1, so they're 3 separate rivers.
No, it's 2 rivers that go into 1. It forms 1 body of water.
Yeah, but there's 2 separate body of waters that go into a third, so there's 3.
I still say the 2 form 1.
Yes, they form 1, but there's still 2 different entities that turn into 1 new entity, so therefore 3.
If you look at it, there
I
are
see.
there are 2 bodies of water.
Bitch, I look at it from my window
I
every day.
I understand, but it's 2 bodies of water. Just,
Well, and we're not even going to get into the underground one. That actually technically makes 4.
that is true. I will count the underground one because it's separated by a landmass. So
This has been Pittsburgh Geography time.
This
Yes.
is the perfect way to end the podcast.
All right. I got to
right,
pee,
yep.
so I'm done.
Bye, everyone.
see ya
Chin up,
next
tits
week.
out, and watch out for the shoe.